It's time for the 6-8 Western Full Auto Podcast. Yep, it's the 27th episode of the 6-8 Western Full Auto Podcast. So today, I just wanted to give an update on the 6-8 Western brass situation. There's not much of an update, actually. I called Peterson to see when they were going to be kicking them things out because I didn't see any on the website yet. And I've got to call into Nick, and he hasn't gotten back to me yet. So I should have just emailed him. Maybe I would have got a quicker response, but that's kind of what's going on with that. It's supposed to be happening. Maybe it's first next year, I guess. I don't know. But I just wanted to touch base on that. And we also, I was looking back. I like to go to the web on the interwebs and just see what's going on with 6-8 Western. And I'm not so sure I had seen this article before. It was in Peterson's magazine, actually, and that Joseph von Benedict had written an article on the 6.8 Western again, saying, the 6.8 Western rifle cartridge is holding on strong, and he's got a question mark, but it really is, and he does allude to that in the article quite a bit. This is I believe, the May edition, so it's about 6 months old, but I just don't buy magazines much anymore just because they're $10 a piece. So, but anyway, I found this online, and he does talk about, all the different bullets and stuff, of course, that all of us that are in the 6.8 Western world know about. And of course, I've kind of settled on the 155 LRXs, which are right back here. And so unfortunately, I haven't been able to touch any flesh with those of the elk variety. So, but he did talk about one thing I didn't know is that the 175 Browning, what is that, Pro Hunter? It is made by Sierra, but it's just proprietary to that cartridge because they do make a 175. Because I was thinking about ordering some. I just wanted to try them and see how they would do. But I've got lots of bullets that work, so I just haven't done it. But he did point out that the 175s that are actually in the cartridge have a higher BC than the ones that you can buy online, even though they're the same weight. So they must be a little longer profile, I would guess. So at least you're getting, I think they're 617, which is actually a little bit less than the ABLRs, which are 620. But that's still pretty darn good, and it's a nice heavy bullet, and a lot of people have used them, and I get a lot of comments saying that is their gun's favorite bullet. So that was just something I wasn't aware of as far as the BC on those things, that the proprietary bullet that Sierra makes for that is actually a higher than the normal 175s they make. So in the 277 caliber. So anyway, and then he talks about the less recoil than, like, the 7 mag. It's got 15% less recoil, and like I've said, I don't know how many times, it's just, you don't even really notice it, especially if you've got a brake on it, or if you're running suppressed. It's pretty minimal, and which does allow you to stay in the glass pretty good, and like for follow-up shots and stuff like that. So anyway, it was a pretty good article that I saw there, so you might want to check that out if you're interested in reading about it. I know I found it kind of interesting. I did learn something new, so that was a good thing. And let's see if there's anything else in here that I was gonna check on this article. I think I pretty much covered it. So yeah, the 165s are 620. 170 ballistic tips are 560 on the BC end. And yeah, here it says Sierra offers a 175 grain tipped Game King that is a near twin to the one Browning loads for the long range pro ammo line, but it's got a slightly lower BC of 560 opposed to the 617 that are in the actual cartridge. So I thought, yeah, that's kind of interesting that they would actually make a bullet for the 6.8 Western just for Browning that's different than what they offer commercially. So um, most, I wouldn't think that would be economical. So I don't know why they would do that. They shouldn't, it's just kind of odd to me. But um, anyway, and they list the different companies that make 6.8 Western, but they do include Seekins Precision, which has to be X'd off that list now. But so if you are looking for one, you obviously have Browning, Winchester, Christensen Arms, and Fierce, and those are pretty much it, I think. So, but I really like the Seekins, but you can't find them. I really like the Browning X bolts. They're really good. Even the Winchester, the one that I had didn't shoot, but I have the same exact one on 6.5 PRC, and it shoots lights out. So, I mean, it shoots 5/8 inch groups all day long with factory ammo. So, it's a good shooter. So I think I just got unlucky on that purchase, but I ended up with the Seekins that way. And as you can see, it's not here. I actually put it away for the winter. So, um, but yeah, it'll be nice to, and of course, I've been playing around with some other stuff now too with the 300 blackout again, kind of getting back into that a little bit, trying a 7.5 inch barrel. So that'll be kind of fun. So, but yeah, if you want to do some reading on that, if you haven't seen it already, it's a pretty good article, and it does point out just a lot of the things. It says the 6.8 Western has built a loyal following, which is for sure, and it's taken game from Alaska to Africa, and is generating a reputation for killing as effectively as the 30 caliber Magnum. And there was another thing here. They talked about going to Africa actually, and the professional hunters over there said that 300 Winchester Magnum or 6.8 Western is probably the two perfect cartridges for over there in Africa, where it's what he says in the article anyway. So I thought that was pretty cool. And and he shot a 700-pound water buck with it, with the 6.8 Western over there. And so, that's a pretty substantial size animal. So did the job. But so anyway, I just wanted to help you guys. If you wanted to, read this article, it's pretty darn good. If you're just trying to find out more about the 6.8 Western, this is actually perfect for you. So I checked that out. It's Peterson's Hunting, and I'm pretty sure it was the May edition. So anyway, yeah, just give a search, basically 6.8 Western News or something like that. If you Google that, that's how I found this. So anyway, that's probably about all I got on the old 6.8 Western. I've had some people ask me about brass that are getting into reloading, and so I checked around. I do believe that Unknown Munitions still has the ADG brass in stock, but it's pretty expensive. And let's see, I checked on Midway. I don't think they had any. And where else did I check? I checked on Choice Ammunition, and I think they were also out. They do have the loaded ammo, but I think they were out of the brass, if I remember right. I could maybe check that real quick here. 6.8. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were out of that stuff. You just give me a second here to find it. Yep, it's yeah, they're out of stock on that. They do, and they are just carrying the Browning nickel plated and the Winchester brass. So, and they're out. So, but I do have some good news on that front. Is I'm trying to get to 1,500 subscribers before the end of the year, and so if you have friends that are hunters and might be interested in this podcast, tell them about it, share it, do whatever you can, and if we get there, I have 52 pieces of Winchester Browning mix nickel plated brass that I will give away once we get to 1,500 subscribers. And if you're just getting into hand loading and this is something you need, I'm going to give them away at 1,500 subscribers. So let's help me get there so somebody can get this. So there's 52 pieces here, and I've all but maybe a handful I've run through the cleaner, and so they're all pretty nice and shiny. There's a few that I must have shot later on that I didn't, but not very many. So anyway, that's something I want to do for somebody if we can get to 1,500 by the end of the year, hopefully. Whenever it happens, I'll do it anyway. But I'm just hoping, kind of setting a goal for the end of the year. So yeah, and then what the heck? There was a couple other questions, but I think I got those answered pretty good. Like I was telling you in another video, we do have our 22 shoots coming up, and by the time you see this, we'll have shot our first one, and so that'll be fun. And I know I'll be doing some videoing there too, just to show you how that's set up, because it's kind of PRS style indoors. So it should be fun. We'll see what happens with that. So, but I think if there's anything else, the hunting thing, just didn't see anything. I saw some deer, but we were hunting elk. There was a couple little basket rack bucks that we saw. Like one was a 3-pointer, one was a 2-pointer, and so we just left them alone. And so I didn't get anything this year. That's kind of disappointing, but it is what it is. That's hunting, I guess. But if like I think I mentioned, this stuff is going over to Rumble. So if you go to Rumble, you can check out Montana Musings 59. And in the future, I'm thinking there's some things that are going to go on there that won't be on YouTube because of obvious reasons. So check that out. You'll have to create a Rumble account if you don't already have one, but it's not that big of a deal. So, and then of course the the Gundy Awards, of course, are going on, and the voting has started. So if you guys would like to vote for me and what I'm doing with this podcast and the 6.8 Western stuff, and of course everything else, please vote for me. Go to thegundy.com, thegundys.com, and scroll down and register to vote. And I think you'll have to give them your email, but scroll down until you see the Micro Influencer of the Year, and click on that tab and vote for Montana Musings Outdoors, and you'll see my picture there and stuff. So that would be awesome. It's just been pretty dang cool to be nominated. That just came out of the blue. I was like, what? I thought it was a scam. So like, who the hell's doing this? Something comes up and somebody takes advantage of what's going on and tries to scam people. That's what I thought. But it's for real. So anyway, yeah, I would appreciate that. So please vote for me. Help me get to 1,500 subscribers. And somebody's going to get some 6.8 Western brass, which apparently is kind of hard to get, unless you want to pay, what is it, $110 or something like that for 50 of the ADG. Oh, speaking of that, though, the ADG brass, I was watching the Vortex Nation podcast, and they were talking about, they've been doing some videos on the seven backcountry, and they were talking about the powder that's in it, and apparently it's just regular powder. It falls in the range of, could be Superformance or Ramshot Hunter, somewhere in that area. And if not those particular powders, but that it's got to be just simply the case technology, because when I was loading up, when I accidentally hot loaded those 136 terminal ascents, it was supposed to be 62.4 grains, and I loaded 64.2, and I shot them, and they were going just a hair under 3,400 feet per second. So then I did a video later on when I was verifying my 155s before hunting season. I loaded 63 grains, and they were going. They averaged just a little over 3,200. So they dropped about 160 feet per second in 1.2 grains is all. So, and the max load is 62.4. So I may just drop down to that max load and see if I can't, if that accuracy is a little better, because I think it was about 1.25 inch group, but I'd like to see those things shoot well. So I'm sure I'll back that off just for accuracy's sake. But so if that steel case can use a powder like Superformance, and you can just put maybe 2 grains more powder in there or something to that effect, and gain 200 feet per second, you're basically creating the seven backcountry. And if you have really good brass like ADG or Alpha, you can kind of push that a little bit. You could probably get your 20-inch, like my son was shooting the 162 copper impacts, and they were going about 28.30, if I remember right. And they're supposed to be going 28.75 out of a 24-inch barrel. And so we didn't really lose that much shooting that 20-inch barrel, that X-Bolt 2. So I just, especially if you're a hand loader, which, and apparently that they've got dies out. Lee has dies out for that now, and it's a 3-die set, and you can also buy a crimping die for it. So for about $80, you can have dies for that thing. But I'm just thinking, if you have good brass, you don't have to worry about blowing things up or anything like that. And you can, a lot of people load a grain over max anyway, and probably gain 100 feet per second, somewhere in that area. So you're basically eliminating that 4 inches of barrel you're losing to shoot a 20-inch, so you can shoot suppressed. Now these guys are shooting, downwards to 16-inch barrels, which is great. But then they're getting 27 something, which is really nothing to write home about. So there's a part of me that just thinks, what's the point? You can get good brass, and the fact is, if you buy ADG brass, and it's expensive, but you're gonna get a lot of loads out of that. I mean, I bought 50 of them. They'll probably last me my lifetime, obviously, because I'm an old fart. But I still don't see the advantage. I know it's something that's probably going to keep evolving. So, I guess it is what it is. The 277 Fury is, that's what Seekins is making instead of the 6.8 Western. And I don't think that was a good business move, in my opinion. I just don't think it's going anywhere. But, they might gravitate back towards the 6.8 Western after they see what kind of numbers they have as far as sales, over the course of a year or two. So I'm hoping they do. That would be really good. And it could be that this new alloy case is going to be starting to show up in other calibers too. So who knows? But if you've got a 6.8 Western, and you want to push the limit a little bit, and still, if you can tweak it and maintain accuracy, I don't see any reason. I would just buy good brass and load that stuff up. And 155 LRXs are going 31 little over 3,100 feet per second with 67 grains of mag pro. There's just nothing wrong with that, you know. And even like the 175s, if they're supposed to be going 28-35 out of factory ammo, and I got to say that they're probably pushing the limit. They're trying to get as much of that out of that cartridge right from the factory. So I don't know how much you can gain there, because I did do some hand loading of the 165s, and I just did the max load, and I was within 10 feet per second of the factory loads, but I was a little bit under. So they are pushing the limit, I think, but they're just running Winchester and Browning brass too, which, as you know, isn't the best. So I think ADG and maybe I think Alpha makes 6.8 Western too, if they are. And if you want to spend 110, 120 bucks on brass that you probably won't have to replace in your lifetime, I would do it, because I just think it's going to give you better performance for sure. So anyway, kind of got off on something else there that was I meant to talk about that I almost forgot. So, but that's probably all I got for you in this one, guys. And just want to encourage you to get out there and shoot and get a hold of these companies that if you think Savage or Ruger or one of those guys, you want them to build the 6.8 Western, just get on the horn, email them, put the public pressure on them to do it. So if not, get yourself a Browning. I think it's probably the best gun on the market. Fierces are out there, but they're more expensive. But if that's what you like, I'd say go for it. It's a free world, so free America so far. But anyway, that's what I got for you in this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you in the next one. And that is episode 27 of the 6.8 Western Full Auto Podcast.